U.S. President-elect Joe Biden has outlined a $1.9 trillion coronavirus and economic recovery plan. If passed by Congress, it includes $1 trillion for households and over $400 billion to combat the pandemic directly, including accelerating current vaccine programs and support for businesses. Now, he's previously promised 100 million vaccines in the first 100 days of his presidency. Biden acknowledged his plan's high price tag, but said that the country couldn't afford to do anything less.
And it's not hard to see that we're in the middle of the once-in-several-generations economic crisis with a once-in-several-generations public health crisis.
Let's bring in DW's Peter Rolla-Dahl, who has been following all of the developments in the United States for us. So, Peter, tell us a little bit more about the plan and some of the challenges in getting it through.
Right. I mean, this is Biden bringing the big bazooka to fight the pandemic. And to put this in perspective, really, we're looking at $2 trillion. That's more than double the stimulus that the Obama-Biden administration passed in 2009 during the Great Recession. One of the big criticisms back then was that they simply did not do enough to help average Americans. And it seems that Joe Biden has learned his lesson from that financial crisis, which is go big or go home. This COVID stimulus package is a sweeping, very ambitious plan that's aimed almost squarely at struggling Americans. We're looking at things like a $2,000 check to provide some immediate relief for families. Biden also wants to increase jobless benefits, prevent landlords from kicking out Americans who can't pay their rent, and also raise the minimum wage to $15. A lot more is in that package, and Biden really wants to put these measures in place through September, so a clear message that the incoming president does not expect this pandemic to end anytime soon.
Exactly. And given that, this economic crisis has been triggered by the coronavirus pandemic, indeed, Peter, he's also promising to deliver Americans through the pandemic with a very ambitious COVID-19 vaccination rollout. Just walk us through what he plans and whether that is also feasible.
Right. I mean, Biden has said that he hopes to deliver 100 million vaccines shots in the first 100 days. That's almost 10 times what what the government has administered since the rollout began a month ago. As you know, that's a very, very ambitious plan that's all but destined to be hampered by the outgoing Trump administration, which, according to reports, really has been stonewalling the Biden administration. It also requires a level of national coordination that the Trump administration has actively discouraged. And as you hinted at there, the big question is whether Biden will be able to even get, congressional support for this. Democrats will control the Senate, but Biden would like to pass his first big bill with bipartisan support. And that's a big if, because at the same time Biden's trying to pass this, the Senate will also be busy with, impeachment trial against Trump. And that's all but guaranteed to deepen the partisan divide in Washington.
Okay, Peter, stay with us. We want to bring our viewers up to date on another aspect of the story, because ahead of Joe Biden's inauguration next week, security in the U.S. Capitol has been stepped up to unprecedented levels. More than 20,000 soldiers are being deployed to prevent a repeat of the kind of violence seen last week in the Capitol building. DW's Carolina Chamoy reports from Washington now, where the measures are being met with mixed reaction from residents.
You shall not pass. That seems to be the message all around the Capitol. Soldiers from the National Guard have flooded the scene. First came the fence, then the barricades. We're expecting around 20,000 soldiers from the National Guard in Washington, D.C. on Inauguration Day. Some have already lined up behind me. The city has never seen something like that, and people, they're scared.
I'll be out of D.C. completely on Inauguration Day.
Why?
Dangerous, too dangerous, scary.
U.S. supposed to be the beacon of, civilization and democracy, and we've come to this. This is a sad, sad sight.
The security that they've done since Wednesday is definitely needed, and I do feel better about it, but I think that the threat is still there.
I feel kind of shaky. I just want to make sure that this time that they're actually doing their job to protect the city, as opposed to, being unprepared like last time.
Behind the fence, it's all hands on deck. Soldiers from 11 states have arrived in Washington, D.C. They are organizing their equipment, checking their weapons, and getting ready in case violence returns to the city. They still don't know for how long they will stay deployed here, but the ones who spoke to us said they are proud to be here and to defend their democracy. But it's also a logistical challenge. For now, they're waiting.
This might look like a military base, but we're actually in the heart of the Capitol building. The soldiers are resting here, they're having lunch, and they're getting prepared for January 20th, Inauguration Day.
Nobody knows what awaits them. The halls still bear signs of last week's riots.
Terrible thing, and it's not what our country stands for, and it was perpetrated by Donald Trump, and it was just such a violation.
And now they are here to fix it.
Peter's back with us. Peter, just briefly, what's the latest on the prospect of further unrest?
We've seen on social media that there has been a lot of planning among the most ardent Trump supporters to have more protests ahead of the inauguration. This comes amid reports that a lot of the people that took part in the protest on January 6th were actually on FBI's terrorist watch list, and a lot of them white supremacists. This, as a country, is just days away from the inauguration of its first black vice president. So a reminder, if any was needed, of the deep divisions and resentments that the incoming administration is going to be up against as they take office next week.
DW's Peter Roladal. Thank you.